Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 25 football cards that were sold on eBay month of September 2024. No duplicated cards are allowed in this video, but I do allow for autos and variants. Graded and raw cards are okay, and has to be 1986 or earlier. So with this background out of the way, let's start our list. And we're going to start off with a red Grange over here. $2,200 for this PSA 2, which I will say, this is a good looking too. Maybe if it was an older label, it would be probably closer to a 3 or a 2.5. I think it has great eye appeal and color for the specific grade. It was one of the first football stars out there. Obviously, there's the 1894 Mayos, and some of those players are popular at the college time. But unlike the professional sense, Red Grange was that guy. And this is an extremely popular card, although he has earlier stuff in the 1920s. Up next, we have a 1973 Franco Harris. He's a Pittsburgh Steelers legend with 9 Pro Bowls, 4 Super Bowls. There was a 9 featured in the July video. It did 2,500. This one did 2,275, so not too far off. Warren Moon. This is the first time I've featured this card in the video. There's a huge price difference between a 10 and a 9. 10s are really tough to get on these. They're very condition sensitive, but what's interesting about Moon is he was originally undrafted and had to play in the Canadian Football League before he moved over to the NFL. He won a bunch of championships in the CFL and then cemented his status in the NFL, although he wasn't apparently good in the playoffs from what I read. This one sold for $24.26. A Junior Wren, I never heard of this player before. This is a registry type card, right? There's 8 PSA 9s out there. There's no 10s, and this sold for $24.96. Another 1959 Topps, Dale Dodderell. Again, another player I've not heard of before. This one sold close to $2,500, and there's 6 10s of this out there. He had a 9-year career and won 4 Pro Bowls. A 1984 Stickers, Dan Marino. This is a Pop 8 and a PSA 10. Really, really great quarterback, and never ended up winning a championship. At 19th spot, 1953 Autogram. Last video also featured an 8, which sold for about $2,700 also. And I still think his cards are kind of undervalued for how good he was. 10 years in a row, he was at a championship. And to this day, the best Cleveland Browns quarterback. Dan Hampton, 12-year career with the Bears, Hall of Famer. This one sold for $27.99. In the 17th spot, Tom Landry, professional football coach, player, and World War II veteran. First Dallas Cowboys coach. I believe this, or not this card, but last video featured 2 1951 Bowman Tom Landry cards. This one in the 8 sold for $3,000. 1975 Lynn Swan. Ran for governor, was a 4-time Super Bowl champion, broadcaster, and also member of him. $3,000. In the 15th spot, 1965, Joe Namath, Broadway Joe, famous for his only Super Bowl with the Jets. There's a variant with this card, the butterfly, but this is the non-variant version. This sold for $3,052. 1950 Autogram in a 7. This one sold for $3,700. 1935 National Chickle, Newt Rockney, 7th grade once again, $3,750. Which 7 would you guys rather have, this Autogram or this Newt Rockney? Both are legendary. Man, that's tough to say. I'd have to look a little bit closer at those pop reports. 1958 Johnny Unitas, 3-time MVP. Considered one of the greatest players, and this is his 2nd-year card, $3,750 for this in an 8th grade. These are tough to get in a good shape because there's a lot of centering issues and print defects. Number 11, 1955 Topps All-American, Jim Thorpe. Tons of cards before then, but baseball cards, postcards, Olympics cards. This is one of his most famous football cards out there. And this one sold for $4,050. All right, let's jump into honorable mentions. But before we jump in honorable mentions, let's talk about the video sponsor, which is Mantle. Their social media website for collectibles. I post on there multiple times every single week showing off cards in my personal collection. This is one that I recently just posted of Franz Ferdinand, and really have been enjoying the platform. One thing I will mention is they are sponsoring a bunch of videos on the channel this month, and we're going to do a giveaway for new users on the website. So what we're going to do is we're going to have 3 brand new users to the site. We're going to give away an 1888 Ginter flag card, a 1960s Warren Spawn, and then $20 PayPal, so you can purchase whatever you want. Join with my link down below so we guys can track who specifically joined the site, and someone who signs up through my link will get one of these 3 cards. We're giving away all 3 of these this month, and I'll mention the winners here on the channel in November. So it is free to sign up, and thank you again to Mantle sponsoring the channel as well as this video. All right, 1980 Walter Payton. This sold for $14.95. Then we have a Fred Davis 1951 Bowman. This one sold for $15.95. Really nice grade over here in a PSA 9. 1977 Topps Mexican Walter Payton. Kind of just made the top 25 because I feel like some people will skip over the honorable mentions. But regardless, this is kind of like the Vennies of vintage football cards. Very, very tough. There's a Steve Largent in this set for his rookie card. I want to get one of those eventually, but this sold for $16. Wyatt Tittle, pretty long career as a quarterback. He's famous for 7 touchdowns in a game as well as 7 Pro Bowls. This one sold for $18.01, which I think is a pretty good price point for how good of a quarterback he was. Gale Sayers, 7-year career with the Bears. It was kind of injury prone and 4-time Pro Bowl. This sold for $18.58. 1982 Lawrence Taylor, 9.5. This sold for $19.75. Chuck Bednarik, linebacker and center. First pick of the 1949 draft. These 48 Leafs have been featured in a lot of these videos. This one sold for $21.69. Next, we have a 1982 Ronnie Lott in a 10 grade. This one sold for $2,200. 14-year NFL career in both in the Pro and College Football Hall of Fame. 1968 football set. There's a few sets that sold this month. This one only had 8 cards graded. Not a ton of information on it. It sold for $21.24. 1962 football set. I mentioned it was X to near mint. This sold for $2,900. And there was a 1965 Philadelphia football set. Again, not much information. I saw these 3 graded cards. It sold for $16.93. I'm curious how much alone these 3 add up to that $16.93 price point. All right, let's jump into our top 10. First, we have a Bart Starr rookie card. This in a 7th grade sold for $4,106. Up next, a 1976 Walter Payton rookie card, 9 grade. This sold for $4,200. 1962 Fran Tarkenton. This is considered a short print card in the set. It sold for $54.95. We featured a 7.5, I want to say a month or 2 months ago, and that sold for close to $3,000. So there's a pretty big price jump in that half grade. These are very tough and condition sensitive, right? Just like that Warren Moon earlier. But I'd argue that these are even tougher to find a nice shape. 1986 Steve Young. He had USFL cards a little bit earlier, but this is a classic set over here when he was part of the NFL. And the Buccaneers bust of a quarterback. Yeah, that hurts as a Bucs fan. But 9.5 also sold for $6,000 last video. Again, $6,000 for this one. On the 6th spot, 1958 Jim Brown. And 6203. You're going to see an autograph really soon on this card. 1957 Johnny Unitas. 6249. This 57 in a 7.5 grade. Really awesome shape on that one. Then in the 4th spot, 1986 Jerry Rice. This is always a given in the video depending on the grade. And should be pretty familiar with this card. In the 3rd spot, we have Elway. And this one is a 10. It sold for $81.99. Jump in the 2nd spot, Jim Brown autograph. $10,032 with the Rookie of the Year inscription. 6 on the BVG grade with the 10 auto. And the top card. And our top sale this month is this 1981 Joe Montana BGS 9.5. 2 10s, a 9.5 centering, and a surface being a 9. That sold for $14,000. Thanks, guys, for checking out this video. I'm going to put last month's football video on the screen now. Thank you again to Mantle for sponsoring this video. Make sure to join for free. The link is going to be down below in the description and the comment section. And thank you to the following channel members. All right, catch you guys in another video.